Don't mistake this like people aren't taking note of what just happened. Hey guys, welcome back to Clockwise Crypto. Hope you guys are moving forward in everything that you do. Diving right into it. The latest news, the biggest news right here. Avalanche is back up after failing to produce a block for 4 hours. Now let's dive into this. Biggest news today. Avalanche suffered a major outage today, failing to produce blocks for more than 4 hours. So the developers released a software patch disabling logic that permitted an excessive amount of gossip to take place between validators. What they're saying here is Avalanche's interruption followed a 5-hour outage earlier this month from rival blockchain Solana. So here they're saying layer 1 blockchain Avalanche resumed finalizing blocks today, 4 hours after an outage, and it stopped adding blocks at around 11:13 UTC time, which noted that the developers for the network had already begun investigating the issue. A couple hours later, 4 hours later, developers released a software upgrade for Avalanche nodes that disabled logic, which led to the problem. So the software patch addressed an issue where more information was passing between the nodes than necessary, which placed a strain on the network, ultimately brought it offline. So, that's a lot of information, and, there's a lot of things coming out about this, but seeing here what the co-founder says, he's saying here that the issue seemed related to new inscription wave that had launched on Avalanche an hour before the outage. So they're saying the why behind the problem, and I'm gonna just keep it real with you guys. Like, when stuff like this happens, it's being noted. Now, it's being noted when you talk about people that are going to be on-ramping onto Avalanche. So there's a reason why certain large companies in the world have selected certain blockchains to use. Okay? There's a reason why they've selected certain blockchains not to use. Okay? I'm just keeping it real. This is something that no one's going to talk about. Do you realize? Okay, I get Ethereum. Ethereum went through something similar. Solana's going through something. Ethereum went through something similar way back, where the decision was made by Vitalik to restore the tokens. There was a problem with the code, and essentially everyone pretty much got wrecked due to this error in the code. Now, if crypto is crypto and, the code is the code, there should never be that restoration. If there's an error, it's natural. It's, natural consequences. If there's an error and you lose, that's crypto. There should never be that intermediary that comes in and just gives you back all the crypto you lost due to the code error, right? That's just, if it's decentralized, it's decentralized, right? And I'm not saying Ethereum isn't a bad investment, but it happens. So I say that to say it happens. Like, it's gonna happen. Things do happen in crypto, but do not believe that this isn't being noted, right? Do not think for 1 second that things like this happen. The companies that are looking for a blockchain, a scalable blockchain to on-ramp onto, aren't taking note of this stuff. There's a reason why you haven't heard of countries utilizing Solana. Okay, there's a reason why you haven't heard too much about countries utilizing Ethereum. Like, this stuff matters. Okay, like, do you really think, let's use Apple. Do you really think Apple wants to onboard onto a blockchain platform that goes through things like this, right? And I'm not saying like little glitches and slow wallets. I'm talking about major things like this. Failing to produce a block for 4 hours. Okay? Like, do you understand, like, these blockchains are almost like living, breathing organisms, and they're moving, and they're producing blocks. They're the code is moving and running. It's the blockchain. Okay, do you understand that? And I know everyone likes to downplay it, right? And you can downplay it. Like, Ethereum's still doing well. Like, I'm not saying you can't make money, But when you talk about the longevity, like, do you really think like Solana, like projects are gonna come to Solana and build on top of it, like countries? So I think that needs to be taken into considerations. We see that, Solana probably is the most popular in Europe right now. And I think that there's a reason why you don't hear major companies and, outside of maybe Europe and maybe South Korea, you don't really hear about countries, major countries adopting and utilizing Solana. Okay. So, I know they're planning to have expansion over in Brazil, right? We see that, but overall, I think these mess ups, these misses matter. Okay. And I think they are, they may not hinder, like from a price action standpoint. Like if we go to Avalanche's price standpoint, like there's blood on the streets right now. This is a good buying opportunity. I think you buy when people are fearful. People are like, oh, like it's because this just happened. Okay. Now I'm not saying you can't make money with Avalanche, but don't mistake this like people aren't taking note of what just happened. Don't mistake that to being, oh, it's okay. We're fine. It was just a little mix up. Don't mistake that for like people aren't, big companies and major players aren't paying attention to this stuff. Right. So there's a balancing act. Right. So there's one side where it's like, okay, there's a mess up with the code. Okay, I got it. Fine. And there's another side where it's this is a problem. Let's, I think we can make money in it, but we won't necessarily be on-ramping our entire network, with our modern day company onto this due to, some things that need ironed out. I think it matters. Okay. And so for people to think, oh, it doesn't matter and just downplay it, I think it matters, but I'm not saying you can't make money with Avalanche. I think honestly, it's a good time to buy. Blood on the streets down 3.67% for the day. And, if we look at the week, I think even for the week, it's down 11%. So I definitely think it's a good buy. You buy when people are fearful, right? Buy when people are fearful and pretty much switch your mind to do the opposite. So many people are doing what most people do. Oh, sell it. Oh my gosh, it's over. This might be a good time to buy. So I say that, I know you're getting both mindsets, but like long term, I think it matters. I think this stuff matters. Okay. I know we've seen it. We've seen it with Solana. We've seen it with Terra. We've seen it with Ethereum way back in the day. Like we've seen mess ups with code, and I think it's been downplayed a lot. Like it doesn't matter. But I do think it's almost like taking note. I think it's like people are recording these events, and it's a big deal. Okay. So long term, I think Avalanche still does well. I think it still performs well. I just think a lot of people believe that despite that, there's it's like it's downplayed, and I just don't think that's the case when you look at these major players that are looking to on-ramp into crypto. So we'll see what they have to say here. I don't see any articles on Avalanche on Twitter on the situation. But like I said, I think they're going to do well. They have the community behind it. From a price action standpoint, I do think they're going to do well. I think that things like this do bring a ceiling though to how well you're going to do. I just really think that yes, mistakes happen. But I think when situations like these happen, I think they are noted when you talk about being in a position right now where companies are deciding which blockchain to use, right? Like this is like the interview process, in my opinion, because there's options, right? There's options for layer ones. There's options to figure out what blockchain you want to on-ramp your entire traditional platforms onto blockchain technology, right? So when things like this happen, I think there's almost like a report card, right? And this falls in on one of these report cards, and I get that is downplayed, and I understand it. but it's a major outage, they're saying. And the worst thing that you want to do when you're interviewing, in a sense, for mass adoption is to have something like this happen. So, and I know the team's probably feeling the same way behind the scenes, right? Because like I said, this is interview time. Because you look at Apple's good at making computers, right? They're not necessarily good at blockchain. Okay. Yeah, they can bring the best people in, but it's not their space, right? There's a reason why you haven't seen the Apple car. They stay in their lane. This is what we do. Okay. Like, they stay in their lane. So Avalanche, I know they're going to do well. It is a bloodbath right now. Definitely a good buying opportunity. You guys know we buy when it's red. Not financial advice, but we definitely buy when it's red. Fear Greed is at 70 right now, so there's a lot of bullish momentum in the markets, but I do think there's a lot of opportunity to buy the news. Right? This is the negative news you can buy. Like, you're not selling this news, you can buy this news, in our opinion. Not financial advice, but definitely some opportunity here with Avalanche. I think they're going to do well long term, and I'm excited to see the continued development. I bought Avalanche a long time ago, so didn't perform too well, but I definitely think there's opportunity for growth, guys. Hope you guys got some value out of this video. Keep moving forward in everything that you do. We'll see you.